we're going to call the meeting to order at 7:30. Please join us for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please call the roll.
Chairman Chickanetti?
Present.
Trustee Hillier?
Present.
Trustee Penna?
Present.
Fiscal Officer Patriarca?
Present.
Okay, I need a motion to approve the minutes from the March 26, 2024 meeting.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Summary of the work session, please.
Tonight we discussed the fire that took place at Red Creek Bar and Grill last week. The service director discussed the open position that will be happening this summer and the labor job posting for the service department, upcoming truck maintenance. We discussed chip seal at length and road replacement forecasts. And then the zoning and planning and zoning director discussed home rule resolution and property maintenance.
Any old business from the floor? Any new business from the floor? If you want, this would be, if you wanted to come up to the lectern.
I think there's instructions on how to activate the
What'd you say?
microphone.
I did, but I got corrected by somebody that it's actually called a lectern, so. Is it on? We have a new mic system. You got it?
This one doesn't show that it's colored. It's
Colored?
Clear Station 3 shows different. Okay. Oh.
He said it's not turning on. Did you forget to charge him?
Oh, you're.
According to the guide, it's supposed to last like what, 3 days or
3 years or something.
Yeah, but it's definitely not.
3 years.
Yeah, she's gonna. We're gonna pull it up on the TV. Yeah.
Do everything I can in my
Oh,
power
there's
not
extras.
to flip ahead. I'll stay with you. I won't.
Like some people?
Yeah.
I don't get too excited. Chuck found a page that was like a spreadsheet.
I like
I
numbers.
jumped all over that.
I had the red one last time. I like
So
the red
is,
one.
is that green or is
That's
that
you're good to
more-
go, man.
Okay, it looks more yellow than green. So
Well, everybody has their own color, so.
okay,
Yeah, and the color for that one went to the back, so it's more to.
all right, sounds good. All right, so I'm Gary Platko. I'm the treasurer and CFO for Riverside Local Schools. For those who don't know me, I mean you guys all know me, but for those that are watching, also tonight we have Chris Rattino, our superintendent, and also Lori Kroniski, our board president, in attendance for emotional support. So I like to come out like once or twice a year, kind of give a financial update and some other updates of what's going on at Riverside Local Schools. If you can go to the next slide. So every year in November, we're required to file a 5-year forecast with the Ohio Department of Education, and then we update it in May of each year. So this, it's posted on our district website. I put the link up there if you ever want to go check out the full forecast of all the assumptions. This is just a high-level summary. We're currently in fiscal year 2024. And so our general fund beginning cash balance was $25.6 million. Our total revenues are expected to be about $51 million or $52 million. Our total expenditures were projected about $51.7 million, with increasing our cash balance a little bit to $26 million based on our forecast in November of 23. Going into the future fiscal years, you can start seeing that our expenditures will continue to rise, and we start deficit spending. When we did this forecast, we projected a 20% valuation increase in property values. With the reappraisal coming up, we're hearing it's going to be more around 30%. Obviously, that's going to adjust our revenue estimates in the future years. It will generate some more revenue for the district. So we'll update our forecast in May to reflect what we're anticipating the increase to be. On the next slide, we look at our cash balance in true cash days. So we have a cash balance policy that was adopted in 2022, basically saying that we believe it's sound fiscal management to maintain a 90-day cash balance. This graph kind of shows 3 years of historical data, with an estimate for 2024 being at 180 days cash, and then as we start deficit spending, that would decline. Obviously, we're in a good financial position right now. Over the last few years, we've been building up cash, and then we'll start heading down as we continue to manage our budget. The next slide just kind of shows, you guys have seen this before, our revenue broken out by category. and a pie graph here. The large blue section's general property tax. That's residential and commercial. Most of it's residential. Of 30.7 million. That's about 59% of our revenue. The next largest portion is unrestricted grants and aid. That's the green portion. That's mostly our state funding. We get from the state of Ohio, and it also includes about $200,000 in casino revenue. The next largest portion is all other revenues. That includes revenue from the Lake County School Financing District. That's the joint levy of Painesville, Perry, Madison, Riverside. About a little over $3 million makes up that amount. The rest is interest income, student fees, pay to participate fees, rental fees, and other various revenue streams. Going on to the next slide, since property tax is our largest funding source, this chart here kind of shows the levies that we have currently in place. The last operating levy was in 2017. We have a total millage of 30.08 mils. That doesn't include the financing district, which is additional 1.93. But what does that mean if you go to the next slide? How we compare to other districts in Lake County. You can see that Riverside, it's a little hard to see it in here, but Riverside is the third lowest tax rate in the county. Even when you factor in the financing district, we're slightly below Menor, with Madison and Perry below us. Perry, they have a power plant. Obviously, they're an outlier. So typically, Madison and Riverside are typically the next two lowest besides Perry. Going on the next slide is our expenditures. If you were to do this pie chart for every school district in the state of Ohio, it would probably look very similar, with salary and benefits making up the largest portion, as we're obviously a service organization. So about 56% of our expenditures, or $29 million, is for salaries. The red portion, about 24% of that, is employee retirement and medical insurance and other insurances and Medicare tax and things like that. And then purchase services, the next largest piece in green, about 7.2 million. That includes any type of contracted services, utility costs, and those type of things. Going on to the next slide, the Ohio Department of Education puts out a report called the CUP report, also called the District Profile Report. They put out a lot of statistics about school districts, and one of them is expenditure per pupil. Our expenditure per pupil was $13,132 for last fiscal year. You can see the statewide average is $15,400. We're the second lowest in Lake County here, with only Fairport Harbor being lower than us. And ODE also puts out a similar district average, and that's $13,802. Kind of compares us to districts of similar size, because Lake County, the school districts vastly vary in sizes. So kind of another measure to look at. We're typically lower, which we believe that kind of shows that we're trying to be efficient with our dollars as best we can. The next slide, just wanted to show we got the Auditor State Award. This one shows 2022. We just wrapped up our audit for 2023. We're told we qualified for the award, just waiting to receive it. So that would actually make 9 consecutive years of a clean audit. And then the next slide is the STARS Award, which is for the highest achievement in open and transparent government. That award started in 2020. We've gotten it now for 4 consecutive years, basically saying that we've complied with Open Records Act, public records laws, and also implemented 5 or more best practices. Now, some other exciting updates. The Secure Vestibule Project. In the picture is Melridge. It's actually a little bit old. This is from February. Some of the more work was completed over spring break, so it looks a little bit, there's no more plywood up and things like that. There's a transaction window, so that work was done in February and over spring break. There's a few punch list items, a couple pieces of glass were bowed. They're getting remanufactured, but those get replaced out. But most of the work's been completed at Melridge. Not only was it the front entrance, but also down in the other doors down in the 94 edition. Those have been replaced as well. Similar work will happen at Lamouth, Buckeye, and the Riverside campus over the summer. At the Riverside campus, we're actually building an addition at the front door, so we can actually have 2 sets of locked doors with the security officer right up front in the entryway, and also being ADA compliant with the push buttons, so they actually can open up the doors. But that, and then at Buckeye, they're also building a vestibule interior to the building. They're tearing down the front, the little overhang that's kind of been rotting and falling apart. That's all gonna get replaced, along with some additional doors throughout the school. And at Lamouth, it's also gonna be a new front entryway. And also along the gymnasium side, there's a big bank of windows and doors that's all getting replaced, along with some doors at the end of the main hallways. That's all supposed to be done this summer by the time school starts up. On the next slide, we received a grant, a federal grant from the U.S. Department of Justice, Office of Community-Oriented Policing Services. It's a school violence prevention program. It's a $212,000 grant. And we're implementing this Vocera communication system. You'll see these at typically in hospital settings. You'll see these like the Hillcrest or the Menor Hospital. And what it is a little badge that our teachers and other staff will wear that basically will replace. We have an antiquated walkie-talkie system, and when someone speaks on that system, it goes to everybody, and it's kind of disruptive, and it's old and not working as well as it should be. This system will allow teachers and administrators to communicate one-on-one, and also there's a orange panic button on the side that if there's an issue where they need assistance in the classroom or somewhere else, they can push that button, and it'll actually tell a response team their location within the building, that they can come to that location if they need assistance, whether it's a medical emergency or some type of discipline issue. They can be able to get assistance that way. On the next slide, we're really excited that we actually received a $2.5 million grant through the Ohio Department of Education, the Career Technical Education Grant. We applied to build a 4,500 square foot addition on the Riverside High School to create more career tech space, enhance our construction, advanced manufacturing, and healthcare programs at Riverside, just to provide more opportunities for our kids, for those who are not going to Auburn Career Center but able to experience different things within our own facilities. And that work will happen over the next 2 to 3 years. And with that, that brings me to the end of the slideshow, so I can open up for questions and anything else.
So they put a levy, you guys had a levy in the ballot a couple of years, I think it was ago, for the new construction, and it got shot down. Where is that? Because the arguments I recall was either new construction or renovation. So are those who were against the new construction working for the renovation, or are they trying to kill this one too?
Well, we're currently working on a new facility plan. I mean, in every plan, Lamouth was going to stay, and I think it was kind of, no one's really made the final decision, but Riverside campus is likely going to stay as is. So we're kind of kicking around what options we are for facilities and what that looks like. We had a facility condition assessment done by Bialowski Architects of the 4 legacy buildings at campus, the Lamouth Middle School, Buckeye, and Melrose, to see what work they believe needs to be completed in those facilities. And we're kind of working through that to see how we're going to move forward.
So on the graph, the chart you showed, 2028, I think is when your last year that essentially the funds are solvent, so to speak, as far as with your deficit eats into your, right?
Right.
So is that what happens in 29? What's a projected solution?
I mean, based on that trend, obviously we'd be going negative. We legally can't do that.
Right.
So we update, it's like the weather forecast where, you kind of update it as you go along. So we're looking at, obviously each year we go from year to year, look at our staffing levels, see if there's areas we can trim and cut corners there. Not really cut corners, but, if there's positions we can eliminate going forward, things like that. Obviously, as with levies, typically you don't really get inflationary gains on levies too much. So it's, at some point you have to go back to the taxpayers and ask again. But
Are there any levies that aren't reflected here that are going to be on the ballot between now and then that would correct this number, like a renewal?
All of the schools' levies are continuous, except the Lake County School Financing District goes every 5 years. That's anticipated to be on the ballot this November. It's up for the 5-year renewal coming up. So that it's assumed that it's renewed in this forecast.
Okay.
But as far as new money levies, nothing's been projected or determined. I mean, we're in a strong position now, so I wouldn't anticipate anything for a couple of years. And
Sure.
Typically, you're pretty conservative on your forecast. So you're also estimating 2 different state budgets going forward, which we all know. Who knows what can happen down in Columbus? So.
And enrollment, where's that at as far as it has shrunk, stayed static?
It's pretty much been static. It's pretty level right now.
Okay.
So typically the trend is declining enrollment across the state due to birth rates and other things. But for Riverside, with all the new construction we've had, we've been pretty level.
Oh, okay.
The joint levy, as a school district, are we actually receiving more benefits than our or has it been, that was the original case, right? The
The-
split,
The original
plant
levy,
money.
yeah, the original levy was to pretty much kind of redistribute funds from the Perry nuclear power
Yeah.
plant back in 1990, and so that was the original, because basically it was collecting money over the 4 school districts, and then redistributing those funds based on enrollment. With the last renewal, we actually renegotiated because it came between like tangible personal property phase out and deregulation, things like that, and plus the growth of Riverside compared to the growth of the other communities. It started to tip the other way, that we started to look like we were starting to lose on that levy. We renegotiated back to, okay, everyone just gets what they generate. We had talked about doing our own levies, going forward, but then, as you know, new levies don't get the 10% rollback and the
Yeah.
2.5% owner occupied credit. So it was better just to renew the existing levy, and just each district gets the funds that they generate now going forward. And that way it's, if we were to put our own new levy on the ballot, it'd be 12.5% more for a taxpayer to collect the same amount of money
Sure.
for the school
Okay.
district.
Good. Okay. I don't know anything else?
Thank you.
All right. Thanks for
Thank
coming
you.
in.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Lake County Sheriff's Office is not present. Department reports. Service Department.
Just a reminder that tomorrow the brush drop program opens for this year. Wednesdays from 7:30 to 3, Saturdays from 10 to 2.
Fire.
Nothing further.
Nothing. Thank you. Zoning. Legal.
Nothing to add.
Administrator. Fiscal Officer.
Nothing to add, sir.
Trustees. I need a motion to adopt a resolution to approve payment to Sedgwick in the amount of $7,350 for Ohio Workers' Compensation Group Rating Program.
So moved.
second,
All those in favor?
Aye.
aye,
Aye. I need a motion to adopt a resolution to approve payment to Shoreline Truck Inc. in the amount of $5,511.27 for repair on truck number 12 in the Service Department.
so moved,
Second.
All those in favor?
aye,
Aye. I need a motion to adopt a resolution to approve payment to Pro Design AV LLC in the amount of $3,312.50 for the completion of the sound system for meetings.
So moved.
second,
All those in favor?
Aye.
aye,
Aye. I need a motion to adopt a resolution to approve payment to Zero Sewer Cleaning in the amount of $3,275 for cleaning at Station 2.
so moved,
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
aye,
Aye. I need a motion to adopt a resolution to approve purchase of a 2024 Cat 914 wheel loader from Ohio Cat at a price not to exceed $130,000 for the Service Department.
So moved.
second,
All those in favor?
Aye.
aye,
Aye. Anything else?
No.
Nope.
Okay, motion to adjourn at 7:42.
7:47.
7:47, sorry.
So moved.
second,
All those in favor?
Aye.
aye.
Using digital clocks, aren't you?